Hi everyone, this is Paul here from the Magdalene Centre. Today I'm going to be doing the Science and Seasons report for the week commencing the 13th of December and outlining general themes that are involved. Before I go into the full details of it, one thing I want to stress is that astrology does not control who we are, it doesn't control us or control our actions. Every single one of us has free will, and we have the free will to choose our actions and choose our responses to things, whether we choose to react to a situation or respond to it in a more thoughtful way. And all the astrology really is it's like the weather, but instead of physical weather like rain or sunshine, we're talking about how the energy around us is operating, how it's interacting, and what general themes it's highlighting to us based on how it's bouncing between the planets. Now, I'll begin with, as usual, with the moon's transit through signs. We start off with the moon in Libra on Wednesday, and during this period, although it's only a few hours on Wednesday, the main theme will be that desire for connection with people, to work with one another rather than going solo, and just spend time with social interaction. Then on the same day, the moon will move into Scorpio, where she will remain until Saturday. And during this period, emotionally we'll be feeling that need to dig down to the core of our being, to explore our subterranean world and get a grip with our own subconscious desires and feel them and preferably release them if they're negative. Then on Saturday, she moves into Sagittarius, so emotionally we may feel that need for expanding our horizons, exploring the world around us, trying to emotionally grasp the big picture so we feel the sense of our connection with the wider world rather than it just being a mental concept. And then on Monday, the moon will move into Capricorn, and this is a time where emotionally we may feel the need to work on our plans, work on our long-term goals, and taking that slow, steady, disciplined action in order to manifest the goals that we set for ourselves. Now, in terms of the other things going on this week, we have the Sun is moving into a conjunction with Saturn. Now, at the moment, that's obviously taking place in Sagittarius, but the true conjunction will be taking place when the Sun and Saturn move into Capricorn. So initially, our sense of identity, the Sun, this may be a time when we need to incorporate discipline, incorporate wisdom of timing, so understanding that we need to be patient sometimes, we need to have the necessary self-discipline, self-control in order to manifest long-term goals. But it's also about integrity, so do we actually have personal integrity, or do we say one thing but we do something completely different? So with Saturn, the test is discipline and seeing what our integrity is like. So during this time, it's a period to try and incorporate more discipline into our sense of identity, figure out what it is that, or who we truly are, and do we have the courage to express that, or do we always wear a mask and as such always at risk of being exposed in an uncomfortable way as opposed to choosing to show who we are. Now, we also have a trine between the Sun and Uranus, so this trine is exact on Saturday, but we'll be feeling it all week. Now, how this manifests depends on our approach to Uranus to begin with. If we're someone who's very stuck or uncomfortable with change or refuses to embrace any kind of change, then Uranus tends to be experienced as chaos. And with this interacting with the Sun, this could be confusion of who we are, or having things or aspects of ourselves suddenly exposed in ways that we're not used to, or to suddenly have parts of ourselves being revealed that we weren't aware of. But if we instead choose to use Uranus consciously, so we embrace change, we allow our intuition to show us the way forward, then any contact with Uranus becomes a lot more gentle, because we're not resisting change and experiencing chaos as a result. We're embracing the messages from our intuition, and we're having the courage to apply whatever changes our intuition is showing needs to be made, in order for us to be more true to who we are and shift the focus of our identity away from the ego and towards the soul. Because Uranus is the awakener. The chaos that Uranus initially brings isn't there for spite or anything like that. It's just to try and awaken us to the deeper levels of who we are, and to help us to connect with the higher mind. So this is where we say we are one. This is the higher mind that connects everyone together in one way or another, and where things like visions come from and humanitarian goals. So this is where we're tapping into the higher mind of humanity and understanding that we are not just the ego self, we are connected to something much greater than who we are. And if we allow our intuition to guide us, if we're open to it, and we're willing to make changes in our lives aligned with that intuition, then this particular aspect will feel a lot more gentle for us. Doesn't mean that we get rid of logic at all. Logic is necessary. We didn't fight 400 years to develop logic to break free of constricted belief systems. But at the same time, logic has its own limitations, but when it's aligned with intuition, when the two of them work together, then the mind can work holistically. So the left and right brain are working together, and it becomes a lot easier. Now bear in mind, Mercury, which is the planetary representative of the left brain, so the logic, is retrograde at the moment. So things at this time are more intuitive rather than logical. So this is really time where we do need to have made the effort to slow down wherever possible, and try and let the big picture reveal itself to us. So rather than trying to force things down what we think is the right way, is be open to change and be open to new ideas of how to do things, and be open to a different way of doing things. Because we may have a certain method, but it may not actually be the most effective way to do it, or it may not be the most accurate. And we also may be missing facts or missing new approaches which are more effective by clinging to our own beliefs, clinging to our own thought patterns. So this is a time where we do need to release old thought patterns, release beliefs which limit us, in order for us to become the best version of ourselves and to move more in line with who we really are. Now, I appreciate it's not easy to do this when there's so much pressure around us to conform to the way things are. There's so much pressure to, especially if we struggle with people pleasing, then we may feel immense pressure to try and avoid rocking the boat, to conform to the way things are, and as a result we may hide our true self. But the way things are changing in the world, the most important thing we can do is to learn to be true to who we are, to understand ourselves and take that inward journey to figure out who are we without all that conditioning attached to us. Which part of us is actually our true self, and what is just something that we've incorporated into our identity over time through conditioning, but isn't reflective of who we are and may actually be holding us back in one way or another. And some of the other aspects we've got, so on Saturday 16th, Ceres turns retrograde in Leo. Now, for anyone who's not aware of Ceres, I will do another video on her specifically, but she is the nurturing principle. Ceres was the mother of Persephone, and Ceres deals with nurturing. So how do we nurture ourselves? How do we nurture others? Now, when a planet is direct, it tends to be how we interact with other people. When it goes retrograde, however, it's asking us to slow down and go within ourselves and see where do we meet those needs for ourselves, or where do we seek to create or meet those needs through our own efforts rather than relying on other people. Now with Ceres, this is about how do we nurture ourselves, because it's one thing to nurture other people, but if we're not careful with how we do it, we can burn ourselves out through spending so much focus on other people that we forget to take care of ourselves and make sure that we are as strong as possible in order to meet other people's needs and help them. So with Ceres in Leo, we're talking about the child within, if you like. Leo deals with children, deals with creativity in general, and deals with play. So this may be nurturing other people through encouraging playfulness. With the retrograde though, this is asking us to look and see, do we allow ourselves to play? Do we allow ourselves to just relax and actually just be ourselves, not worry about what other people are doing, and just engage with play for the sake of it? Because play is actually a fundamental part of who we are. It's important that we engage in it, because play, it's through playful activities where there's no consequences, there's no end game, if you like, that we can practice creative solutions without any pressure to incorporate it. We can develop problem solving abilities, we can use our imagination in order to come up with new and novel ways of doing things. But if we don't take the time to play, these aspects of ourselves will always remain dormant, and our creative gifts will go unexplored and may well manifest as regret later on because we didn't have the courage to tap into our creativity or express it. So during Ceres retrograde, it's important that we do slow down and look at how we nurture ourselves. Do we ever spend time with ourselves with important self-care and self-love, or do we focus all of that energy outwards to the point that we don't actually nurture ourselves? So it's important for us to spend time during the Ceres retrograde, which doesn't finish until about March of next year, to get in touch with ourselves or ask ourselves, do we actually nurture ourselves? Do we actually engage in play? Do we tap into or explore our creative abilities, or do we just believe that we don't have these creative gifts, which a lot of people are in that position for whatever reason, because creativity has many different forms, and we often associate creativity with it being a certain thing or having a very narrow definition of it. We don't appreciate our own creative gifts and our own creative abilities, so it's important that we do spend time exploring our creative potentials, exploring our capacities, and learn to play more and embrace life as it is. Ceres happens to be conjunct the North Node at the moment, so her actions are inherently tied into the general direction that we need to be moving collectively in order to keep growing at soul level, because North Node is in Leo and Ceres is conjunct it. So this is a time where nurturing ourselves creatively will help to fulfill the collective goals or collective development that humanity needs to undergo. But if we don't take the time to do this and we don't tap into that creativity, then we miss out on the opportunity to grow as an individual. We also have a new moon in Sagittarius. This is the final new moon of 2017, and this new moon is, again, there'll be a video on this, but it's got a strong trine to Uranus. It's right towards the tail end of Sagittarius, and this is a time to think about what dreams or what changes do we want to make within us. Where do we want to brace some more broad-minded attitudes? Where do we need to let go of old limiting beliefs that stop us from connecting with other people? Where do we need to let go of the kind of pride that blocks connection with other people? It's one thing to be proud of our achievements and be happy for ourselves that we had the courage and took the action necessary to manifest our goals, but the kind of pride that throws barriers between us is the kind that we need to be careful of here. So the new moon may well be an opportunity to set intentions on letting go of that kind of pride, of being more humble and open to what other people have to say, or open to new experiences. And it may be time where we decide to either engage in maybe long distance travel, or maybe interact with people from different backgrounds other than our own, in order to try and challenge our minds to expand beyond the current limits, and to recognise that the beliefs that we inherit from the society we grow up in may not necessarily be completely valid, or they may be incomplete. So by interacting with people from different backgrounds and understanding where they come from in terms of their beliefs, what do they believe, what is their code of conduct, what is their sense of moral compass, because there are certain, with Sagittarius, we're also dealing with natural law, some sort of spiritual law, depends on what you want to call it. But if for whatever reason we've lived our lives out of alignment with these natural laws, then this generates karma for ourselves. And with Sagittarius, if we can manifest the higher levels of it, so expand our perceptions to recognise that whatever actions we commit towards others is what we're doing to ourselves. So what you sow, so shall you reap. Then if we can use the new moon as an opportunity to set intentions to align ourselves with these laws, to understand them and try and live our lives by them, then chances are any karma that is residual, we can just deal with it, but we're not creating any new karma. And this opens up a pathway for us to achieve a much higher level of understanding, a much greater understanding of who we are, because we're not spending the entire time trying to resolve karma that we're necessarily setting for ourselves. And by liberating ourselves from this karma, we can achieve a much greater degree of wisdom, and we can move much higher in terms of elevating our vibration spiritually. But if we're always fighting, always trying to overcome karma because we don't think about our actions or thoughts, our beliefs, then the amount of spiritual growth we can achieve is inherently limited. So this is the time of year where there's maybe a lot of shadow work going on, especially in areas to do with pride. This is the shadow side of Sagittarius, along with the various manifestations that it generates, like dogmatic behaviours, fanaticism in some cases, but overall just this belief that we have the right idea, other people are wrong, when actually the other person may have a valid point and they may have a different side to the same truths that we're looking at. And by observing the two opposites and bringing them together in a cohesive whole, we can see the bigger picture and elevate our perception higher. A bit like climbing a mountain. If you make the effort to climb it and see things from a higher perspective, we realise what's actually going on. We can change things for the better, but we must become conscious first. So that's the general themes for this week. I hope it's a useful guide for you, but as I said at the beginning, astrology does not control us. It's not some puppet master in the sky. It's just a series of energies that creates various manifestations in the world through the way we interact with the collective consciousness. So if we understand what those energy currents are like and try to make the best of them, so move towards the positive manifestations of them, then we can make life a lot easier for ourselves rather than constantly fighting to make things happen our way. If we know where the current is going, we can flow with it and engage with the flow rather than trying to fight to make things happen, because we're not following wisdom, we're not following the general alignment of things, and we're keeping ourselves out of the flow through creating karma rather than resolving it and letting go of things which block our sense of identity or prevent us from realising who we really are below the level of ego and closer to the true self at the core of who we are. So I hope it's a useful gauge for you, and may you learn a lot about yourself, and may you get many blessings from the week.